Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your beer.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Happy Hump Day. Welcome in. It's Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And we have to wish a happy heavenly birthday to the legend Roy Ayers. His music used to make me feel like so grown up as a kid, just like sophisticated. This is what it felt like listening to it. Just vibing. Now you need to light some incense, get a little spoken word going, a libation, or something. All right, guys, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines, and tonight we have a spicy one coming your way. We are getting into Clifton Powell. He is doubling down on some commentary that he had regarding Spike Lee. So we're going to get into his comments, what he had to say, and, you know, he also, in his commentary, says that perhaps he should have taken a different approach in this criticism of Spike, but we'll get into that. Also, you know, it's Wednesday, so what do we do here? We get all up in the business, and tonight, we are getting into Tabitha Brown, you know, the actress, entrepreneur, author, health enthusiast. Tabitha is catching some strays for some real-world advice she gave to entrepreneurs. So we're going to get into that. Plus, Mark Cuban, we know he sold the Dallas Mavericks. And we've seen some things happen in the time since he sold the team that Mavs fans aren't that happy about. So we're going to get all up in that business because Cuban says, you know, he's rethinking how he sold the Mavericks. And we're also talking, you know, women's basketball. They're having their moment, right? The WNBA, we're about to slide into those playoffs, record numbers. And the Unrivaled Women's Basketball League. That's the 3-person off-season, well, I guess it's off-season for lack of a better term, their own season, right? Helps players not have to go overseas. 3-on-3 league. They're flexing a $340 million valuation, right? So we're going to get into those details. But first, you know how I like to do. Let's start with a little Cardi and Offset tea. Now, TMZ caught Offset at LAX, and we know Cardi B is dropping her long-awaited, it's almost been, or has it been 8 years? It's been 8 years since her first album, Invasion of Privacy, dropped. So we have seen all the stunts and shows for Am I the Drama, including special merch edition of Cardi's face and various expressions, meme-worthy, on packaging. We saw Cardi imitating, the street vendors out in New York with her incense, selling the album. We saw her dancing in the streets, pumping it up because numbers matter. And Offset says he is expecting her to do just that, hit the numbers. He said he hinted that he heard the project, and he said it's hard. She gonna do her big one too. You better support your baby mama, Offset. Also probably trying to, further his case of how much he should pay her as far as child support, things of that nature, things that he's arguing, right? But that's another topic for another day. Offset just dropped his own album, Kiari, in August. He's touring with NBA YoungBoy. So, divorced this summer, but still publicly supportive. Maybe all of the bitterness is faded and we're at mature co-parenting levels. Now, wouldn't that be nice, right? When we come forward, we got Damon Haley in the business, and we're going to get into Clifton Powell versus Spike Lee. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
As we get older, we may feel strong and healthy, but no matter how healthy you feel, your immune system weakens with age. That's where vaccines come in. Vaccines help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off certain respiratory illnesses. And that's why the CDC recommends eligible adults 50 or older or those with certain health conditions get vaccinated. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And it's Wednesday, so I mentioned I'm not alone. Tonight we get all up in the business, and I'm breaking it down with entrepreneur, business strategist, author Damon Haley, owner of Glow and Flow Beauty, Inglewood and Hawthorne, and Slay Hair, 3 Ys. Welcome in, DH. How are ya?
I'm great this evening. How you doing?
It's a little steamy in here.
It is. And it
a little
just ain't
warm.
me. It just ain't
a little
me.
warm. But otherwise, I'm good, you know. So we're going to get into this Clifton Powell story because it's making its way around social media, right? Clifton sat down, and if you aren't familiar with Clifton, he is Punk A. Chauncey from Menace to Society, Pinky from Friday After Next? No. Next Friday, right, yeah, next Friday. And what else?
Cuddy from Dead Presidents.
That's right. That is right. And a bunch of other classic roles. You know, we love Clifton. He's one of our Keep It Realers. And so I guess some time ago, he had some commentary on Spike Lee. And what he says was not the greatest treatment with the black actors that are in his projects. He said that he got the information from a few of his friends that worked in, he didn't name what projects. So he was asked about it recently in an interview with The Art of Dialogue, and he's doubling down. Let's check out what he had to say.
I am not going to comment about Spike Lee. I said what I said, and I stand by what I said. Go read about it. And a lot of y'all don't have the facts. But if you go research and ask some actors the kind of business that he did, you'll be able to make a determination for yourself. I think him and Denzel working together are amazing. It's certain things that African-American producers do or white producers do that I'm never going to agree with. And I got a lot of flack for it. I don't dislike Spike Lee. I dislike some of his business practices. And people can think about me with one guy called in and say, you old C-list ass actor talking about Spike. The problem is people talk a lot of stuff and don't do their research. I do my research. And I'm never going to accept a black man doing to us what the man has been doing for the last 70,000 years. And so go do your research. Listen to what Charles Dutton said. He said Clifton Powell wasn't wrong. He knows. And so all I'll say is go read what I said and I stand by it. And I never threatened him, but I don't appreciate how he did business with us back in the day. Not me, but my friends, because I've never worked with him. But just do your research. Black folks, do your research before you comment and condemn somebody. You know, we got to be better than the man to each other. I know y'all understand that. I respect Tyler Perry. I went to him and I said, you know, the things I said about Spike. I think we all, as African-American entertainers, and if the shoe fits wear it, we got to be careful condemning each other in public. And I said it about Spike because he said something about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry used to live in his truck, be in his car and be homeless. I don't know how much you can...
So basically, his point was that Tyler was homeless. He saw him struggle, work his way up. Clifton mentioned that he had been homeless 4 times. And he said that, you know, one thing that he felt is true to Tyler Perry is that Tyler takes care of his people. Those are Cliff's feelings about the situation, right? And so, yeah, you know, people are wondering what specifically the situation is that he is referring to. Morris Phillips in the chat says, Clifton Powell said that Spike didn't want to share the wealth back in the day. Were there any contract violations? And again, I think initially he didn't want to talk about it, but then he felt he had to clarify. You know how that goes. I'm not going to talk about it. Proceeds to talk about it. And so, listen, everyone has their own personal opinion based on sometimes information not everyone else is privy to. He was asked a question. He responded. He says he respects Spike's cinema legacy, but that's about as far as it goes. DH, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of yourself. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You would hope that we take care of each other, But there's just too many occurrences where, particularly in that business, people just don't take care of people, be it music and rights and all of that, and then pay scales, because you heard the same thing about Tyler Perry. He doesn't take care of his people. I think what you do is you have these writers, producers, directors that are businessmen and that are carrying out business, the best deals that they can do, so it pads their pocket, particularly if they are director, producer, all that kind of stuff. And they're cutting deals, and they could have not paid some actors scale or whatever. I mean, there's the union and all that kind of stuff. But Clifton Powell said, take care of the people back in the day. And so we don't know what that means. But when Spike was first really trying to make it and all that, but I'm sure that once he made it, he took care of people a little more so because he was taken care of.
Right.
So I think that might be, because when he says Charles Dutton, I go to get on the bus. Was that a Spike Lee movie?
It was.
Okay. That's the only movie I can recall that Charles Dutton was in.
Of Spike's, right.
And he was in that, right?
Well, I know that they were together on Rock. Remember, Clifton played the neighborhood
No, I mean,
dealer.
Spike and
Spike and Charles. Well, Spike directed that or something like that.
So that's when they worked together. And, of course, I do remember the Rock show
Charles
and all
Dutton,
that.
yeah,
so they probably have a
so
friendship there.
I got it. Charles Dutton and Spike worked together on Get on the Bus. I was saying Clifton and Charles worked together on Rock, which...
So he probably heard about that as mid-90s, 30 years ago, So yeah, I think that, you got to take care of yourself at all, and you got representation and all that kind of stuff. So you got to take care of yourself and not assume that we're going to take care of one another.
That is facts. Fahima in the chat says that the situation with Spike and Tyler was a long time ago. We know that it's been resolved, and that Tyler even named one of his sound stages after Spike.
That's true.
It's just, with interviews now, and they're covering a range of things, your entire career, moments, peaks, valleys, commentary. So sometimes they're going to retread things that might have already been settled and done. We see this time and time again. And though it might be old news to everyone else, it's new news to a generation of people or someone that might not have been in the know at that time period or locked into the same sources. So I think that is why it is coming up, because when people do those long form art of dialogue type interviews or etc., it's not like they're promoting a project or that they're there for a thing per se. They're there more so to have a conversation. So I think that is why it's brought up. We obviously know Spike's Built to Legacy, Highest to Lowest, was just released on Apple TV on the 5th. It has been receiving mixed commentary from some on social media, with some, feeling as though there's some holes in the plot and some other things, critiques as per usual. That's what art is. It's there to critique. But, everyone has an opinion, and he did point out that we didn't hear it in this clip. What he said was, if he had it to do again, he would go to Spike directly with his grievances instead of airing it out publicly, which is kind of why initially he said he didn't want to talk about it, but he wanted to make it clear that he wasn't backing off of it either. I think he just understands, which we all do, right? We're in a delicate position currently politically in the United States, and so you want to be able to have honest, free-flowing conversations. You don't just want to pad everything someone does just because we're the same race. But at the same time, you don't want to look as though you're cutting someone down because we know our positioning is, fleeting at times or just really easy to take that one moment and magnify it into other areas. So
I would say one thing. I'm glad that, I had mentioned off air that I've been around Clifton Powell a fair amount. Real nice dude, but a mean dude. He's a DC cat. You want to be careful with him because he talks the talk and walks the walk. But he did say if he had it over to do it again, he would reach out to Spike. So I do think that is a responsibility that stars, at celebrities, whatever, through DMs, what you can say. If it's not something you don't like, you don't have to push it on media. You can say, hey, I didn't like that, if you're in the same industry or something like that. So I'm glad he gave that as a mature man speaking back on how he do it different.
Indeed. We have a caller on the line, Eric from Carson. Eric, welcome in. What are your thoughts on Clifton and Spike?
What's up, JM and DH?
E!
Yesterday we were, talking about Tyler Perry. So I think Clifton Powell is better than a C-list actor, in my opinion. He's been around. He has a right to say what he feels and thinks. He was pretty much focusing on coonery and buffoonery when he was talking about Tyler Perry. And, we all know that Tyler Perry has created jobs and opportunities for the mass of blacks. But if you remember back in the day, in good times, John Amos had a big problem with JJ, the character JJ, saying that he was kind of like buffoonery in his comedy. And I think that there's a place for buffoonery and there's a place for socially conscious films and racial issues, which is what Spike Lee did. It's enough room. We want it all. And I don't think that's my opinion, but I still respect what, the brother, Clifton Powell had to say.
I mean, I think with most people, we can recognize that some things just aren't for us. There are individual tastes for some things. And I think more so than let's not make it, for me, it's balance. So, Tyler Perry has his fans and they lock in, they show up, whatever he releases sends him to #1. So you can't deny that, no matter what your critiques are of it. But you have other things that you can give your time, your views to, that have nothing to do with that, and go on about your business, right? And I think with this instance, I think he was asked a question and he addressed it and, brought a little bit of clarity to where his mindset is currently on this previous topic, right? But again, I mean, we critique each other all the time. We just have to be sensitive in how we go about it, I think. So, thanks for calling. Well, did you have something else to add? Go ahead.
I just want to say real quick that the best movie that Spike Lee ever did was School Days. That was a really socially conscious film, and I believe that I don't think that he, could have did blacks wrong. I don't see it. I'm not in the industry, but that film, to me was a very socially conscious film that we needed, and so thank you, Spike Lee, for that.
I mean, we love Spike, but I think wrong can be relative, especially as Damon pointed out, when you're talking about business and finances, right? I mean, there are a lot of artists in the music industry that will tell you they have been done wrong by labels, but they had a choice whether or not to sign the contract. Andy's like, did they? I understand. Maybe not. I get it. You just want to sign. But even from there, right, there are some terms that you can understand and learn. I understand people will take advantage of your naiveness, but I also know that in the last 20 years or so, there's been a plethora of information about contracts and label deals and how it goes down and what happens in films and movies. So I say that to say, at a base level, a very base level, you should know to ask a question or understand, hey, if I sign this, there's a great opportunity, even if I to the moon, might end up with very little money. Mm-hmm. I think that is something that has been clear through film, through pop culture, through magazines, through your favorite artists for quite some time now, very much openly so. Not saying that to excuse it, but saying that there are things called, there's an economic concept, it's one of my favorites, opportunity costs. And it is basically, in layman's terms, in a nutshell, delaying the benefit of getting something bigger later for making a sacrifice now. Am I explaining that right, Damon? I'm trying to kind of
close enough. Close enough. Yeah.
So, because Damon worked in all of that or whatever, but I really loved that concept. And I think that sometimes, especially now when we're used to getting everything on demand, everything in our life is on demand, we don't understand the concept of patience or understanding paying dues and what paying a due really means. Again, not saying you should be taken advantage of, but it's not a fun thing and it's not an easy thing. And oftentimes it's not a financially beneficial thing.
Yeah.
You got a last thought, Eric, or we good?
Yeah. My last thought is that Spike Lee was as significant to the black culture back in the day as Tyler Perry is today.
He's still alive.
Yeah,
he's still okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with that, but we can get into that whole conversation at another time because I just no, Eric, no. Listen, when we come forward, we have more trending topics and headlines. We're gonna get all up in the business with these topics and break down the strategy. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Searching, 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 searching. Searching, 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 searching.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. President Trump now says he will not deploy the National Guard to Chicago despite recent threats. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson had pushed back, insisting the city is not in crisis.
We take these threats seriously, and we find ourselves in a position where we must take immediate, drastic action to protect our people from federal overreach.
Pritzker says such a move would be illegal. New Orleans Black Mayor LaToya Cantrell has pleaded not guilty to federal wire fraud and corruption charges tied to an alleged affair with her former security chief. A judge ordered her to surrender her passport while she maintains the relationship was professional. And Maryland Congressman Kwesi Mfume and Senator Angela Alsobrooks are pushing a bill to cut costs for asthma inhalers and lung therapies. Alsobrooks says no one should have to choose between rent, food, and breathing. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's a slow drive on the 405. We're looking at northbound delays starting out of Culver City from Venice Boulevard. It stretches all the way into Van Nuys. It looks better once you make your way past Sherman Way. There's a crash being cleared out of lanes just before Sherman Way, or just past Sherman Way on the southbound side of the 405. So watch out for some activity there. We're also checking out the 101. Southbound slowing out of Calabasas and stretches from Parkway Calabasas all the way to the 170, 134 split. And on the 170 northbound, this is before Magnolia. The two right lanes have been blocked due to an overturned car. Backing traffic up off the 134 westbound from Forest Lawn Drive and the North 101 from Melrose.
Compassion sponsorship means food, health care, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A slow start with first-year coach Lynn Roberts is one of the reasons the LA Sparks failed to make the WNBA playoffs. The Sparks were 5-13 after the first month and a half and never got over 500 after the third game of the season. They were eliminated from playoff contention Tuesday night when the Seattle Storm beat Golden State. The Sparks are 21-22. They can finish at 500 if they beat the Las Vegas Aces Thursday night at home in the final game of the season. The Aces have won 15 straight. For the first time in 5 years, Colorado football coach Deion Sanders has an issue at quarterback. Deion had nothing to worry about when his son Shedeur was his starter for 2 years at Jackson State and 2 at Colorado. Deion is leaning towards starting third-string quarterback Ryan Staub in Friday's game at Houston. Colorado was 1-1 and not ranked in the top 25. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, yeah. I'm with this. I'm just gonna sit here laid back to this nice mellow beat, you know, and drop some smooth lyrics. Cause it's 88. Time to set it straight, you know what I'm saying? And there ain't no half-stepping. Word. I'm ready.
Rappers stepping to me. They wanna get some, but I'm the Kane, so yo, you know the outcome. Another victory, they can't get with me. So pick a BC date, cause you're history. I'm the authentic poet to get lyrical. For you to beat me, it's gonna take a miracle. And stepping to me, Yo, that's a wrong move. So what you on, Hobbs? Dope or dog food? Competition, I just devour. Like a pit bull against a chihuahua. Cause when it comes to being dope, hot damn, I got it good. Now let me tell you who I am. The B-I-G-D-A-D-D-Y-K-A-N.
Oh, okay.
Asiatic, not like many, I'm different. So don't compare me to another, cause they can't hang.
Word to the mother.
At least not the principal in this pedigree. So when I roll on your rappers, you better be ready to die because you're petty. You're just a
Butter knife. I'm a machete. Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jewel Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Friday the 13th, I'm going to play Jason. Come on, man. 88. Time to set him straight.
Oh.
What y'all know about Ain't No Half Steppin'?
88, that was before my
Ain't
time.
no half stepping. I mean, I know hip hop. That's all it is. I know hip hop. I don't know the times though. Or do I? You'll never know. Shout out to Big Daddy Kane. Happy birthday to him. Let's see. Big Daddy Kane was born in 68, so that means he's what? 57 right now?
57.
Wow.
Still got it. Got it.
Remember Scoob and Scrap Lever and the splits, and they would jump over the leg and all of that? He was hip-hop's second sex symbol. LL Cool J being the first, then Big Daddy Kane. He even posed in Madonna's sex book. But naked, and he did Playgirl. He sure did.
Go ahead on.
I don't think he showed anything, but the fact that he did it, it was, very controversial.
Well, the fact there was a sparkle in your eye when you said it.
I've never seen it.
I was teasing.
Okay. I don't know.
Were the ladies really checking for Kane like that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's when Chocolate Brothers was in, huh?
He was certified, too.
Matter of fact, Andy, perhaps the next time, Yolanda comes in, maybe she'll share a story.
Oh, what you saying?
Nothing. No, just no. Not with Yolanda. Just no. No, not with me and not with Yolanda.
No, I'm saying
somebody
Yolanda
we know.
and Kane? Oh.
No, somebody we know.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But there was some funny stories that, perhaps she'll share. Anyway. Shout out to Yoli. Look, Roy L. Jenkins in the chat says Big Daddy Kane with the high top fade. You know what I forgot to do tonight? I forgot to tell you guys, and we've already had what? Yeah. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Join us if you want the visual experience to go along with this audio exploration. Also, 800-920-1580 if you want to call in. We've already had a couple callers. Add to it. Jump in. And, of course, download the app. And there's a new, the app is expanding. We're expanding things. There's a wellness aspect now. Go dive into it. Take a look around. We care about your health. We really do. What do I always say? Black men take care of your health. Black women take care of your health too. All of us. It's important. All right. Now, let's move along, shall we? Okay, so listen. Tabitha Brown, vegan chef, actress, entrepreneur, influencer with over 5 million followers, posted a video with some advice to entrepreneurs. This isn't anything that we haven't heard before. It's really not even anything controversial, right? But somehow, some way, it's got the people going. Essentially, she said, entrepreneurs, if you are struggling, go get a 9-to-5 to cover your basics until your dream builds. She was like, you've been waiting a couple months, couple years. Get a job until the dream funds itself, right? And people are offended. They feel that there was condescension in the delivery. I think part of that is, her flair, her style. This is social media. The videos are also meant to entertain, right? Mm-hmm. It's not school. But, real life, that's real advice for some entrepreneurs. Not all of you, right? But you got to fund the dream somehow. And if you don't have a trust fund, a rich baby daddy, a sugar mama, whatever, a grant, a loan, a fund, what happens? DH, what do you think about that? And what is your one solid piece or two solid pieces of advice that you always give to entrepreneurs when they ask you for help?
Well, one, I saw the video, and she was talking to some people, and some people she wasn't talking to. I think the ones who are complaining is the ones who might deep down know she's talking to me, and I don't want to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, because I've seen her say, hey, go for your dreams, and then be realistic and practical and saying, get a 9-to-5. You know, for me, you know, it's tough, you know, because entrepreneurship is really, really tough. Following any dream is really tough, because a dream is just beyond the norm. It's beyond the average. I mean, so I always encourage people to follow your heart and be realistic about really your life situation. Now, if you have, 3 kids and all of them are young, it's tougher to do that. But if you are single, I say do that stuff young. Start it young. Like, I have young nieces and nephews. I'm like, go for it now, right now, when you're single, when you don't have that kind of responsibility where it's you and you can't pivot. It's just harder to pivot with those types of responsibilities for young people.
Right. I mean, I think, though, we are in an era where a lot of people are on their second, third, fourth career, maybe not by choice, some by force, just because industries are, being torn down and rebuilt in other areas. I think I'm on my third or fourth career myself. So, I mean, I think it's just that people feel like, dream killer. They heard, fund your dream, and they took it as go die, go sit in the corner, die slow, you trash.
Yeah, I guess over the last, I haven't had a job or anything I consider. I had one job in maybe the last 24, 25 years, where I didn't build it from scratch. And so nobody, if it is a real dream, can't anyone kill it. Because parents will kill a dream of a kid in a heartbeat.
Facts.
Parents, loved ones, people who care about you, and just say, hey, go get that DD-115, that drug on the street, right? You know that one, right? That direct deposit on the 1st and 15th. That's the most dangerous drug out there for an entrepreneur, because you get to feeling real good about that, and you leave your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, and that incredible thing in the closet somewhere.
But don't you think in this social media era that entrepreneurship has been glamorized in some ways, and that people don't respect or really understand that there is, you hear, no sleep, we grind, like all the little isms and things of that nature. But what that really looks like, the meticulous things that you have to do to keep yourself afloat, that you're accountant, marketing director, business development, shipping, packaging, sourcing, you're everything. And it's a lot, no matter what, area you are venturing off into.
Yeah, that social media thing, sometimes I have to get off of it, because it just glamorizes it too much. And I just know if you're trying to teach me about being an entrepreneur, you might not be one.
These are facts.
You might just be teaching and not doing. And I know a lot of helpers of business out there in LA, New York, Chicago, major markets, all that kind of stuff. They're trying to help people, but they themselves haven't done it. And so that's something I see out there too. So is it glamorized? Yep. Is it made to be easy? Yep. Because if you're a real entrepreneur, you're not posting play by play. You're working. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Although social media is part of that, but I think that I encourage people to do it until you can't do it no more, until you're broke. And I don't mean financially. I mean until your dream is just broke, where it's just not going to happen.
Well, when we come forward, we're going to get into some dreams. We're going to talk Mark Cuban regretting how he sold the Mavericks and the Unrivaled basketball league's expansion. All that and more when we come forward.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have cancer. The 3 words no one wants to hear. Of the cancers that impact our community, lung cancer is the most dangerous. More people succumb to lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate combined. Black men are 12% more likely to develop lung cancer, and cases for black women are rising. Early detection and comprehensive treatment is the best way to beat this dreaded disease. Providence is a research leader in multi-cancer early detection, offering blood tests that identify fast-spreading cancers that don't show symptoms in early stages. The Providence Los Angeles Integrated Network Cancer Program determines best protocols for each patient, interacting with specialists who share experiences, perspectives, and new findings specific to each case. With over 1,000 board-certified physicians, including top oncologists, surgeons, radiologists, and nurse specialists, Providence delivers whole-person care that understands your culture, values, preferences, and priorities. So, if you hear the words, "you have cancer," all you need is faith and providence.org/cancer. Asthma Peak Week is almost here, September 14th through 20th, and it's one of the most dangerous times of the year for asthma flare-ups. Did you know that Black Americans are about 5 times more likely than white Americans to end up in the emergency room due to asthma? This is an important reminder to be informed, prepared, and proactive. If you or someone you care for has asthma, now's the time to get ready. Make sure medications are filled and not expired. Review your asthma action plan with your doctor or care team. This is also the time to talk with your doctor about your triggers, monitor your symptoms closely, and double-check inhaler technique to ensure you are using all prescribed medications correctly. Caregivers, make sure your child's school or daycare has their rescue medications and know what to do in an emergency. Stay aware, have a plan, and spread the word because your health matters. For more active asthma care tips, visit luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we're here talking with Damon Haley, author, business strategist, entrepreneur, and, all up in the business Wednesdays. We get all up in the business? Yeah.
All up in the business.
Yeah. So Mark Cuban, he recently sold the majority of the Dallas Mavericks. It was late 2023 to Miriam Adelson and Patrick Dumont. I believe they are part of a hotel ownership group in Vegas. And he said in hindsight, he regrets not putting the sale to a public vid, losing control over the basketball operations aspect. The NBA removed a clause allowing him day-to-day involvement. He said he was pushed out by GM Nico Harrison. Shout out to Nico and the new ownership. And, he said he felt the fan backlash when Luka was traded to the Lakers in 2025, although he wasn't involved. He still holds a minority stake, but said he's effectively sidelined. So, DH, what are your thoughts on that?
Seller's remorse, all right? And I think that the way that it went down in Dallas with the Luka and the trade and all that kind of stuff at the end of the season, I can see where his passion and drive for building the organization would go away, or would be affected when stuff like that happens. But once you sell, you out of it.
Right.
You really out of it. And so I know there's some things about certain types of ownership, like even the Dodgers owner, the equity group, says that Jeannie Buss is going to stay in charge. I'm not sure about that.
Right.
So
for how long? Like for a transitionary period, maybe the first year of it.
Right. So Mark Cuban got 4 months out of it, because that's kind of a transitional kind of space. And 2, the owners Nico can't push you out. The owners do.
Right.
The owners do. So I can see where he probably thought he would still be able to sell and reap the benefits of ownership. It just don't work like that. And I'm not sure if the NBA would like that. I'm not sure if those 30 owners would like it like that. Once you sell, you're not one of us anymore. At least once you sell majority, you're kind of not one of us anymore. And you can't be one of the governors. That's kind of the people who go and represent the team. You have no more voice in the room anymore. And I think that Mark, being as passionate as he is and contributing mightily,
right?
Contributing because he was that way. I think he has said this before, but that wave of let's make the game better, let's make the fan experience better, all that. He led that kind of ownership, a decade or 15 years ago.
Right. He was Steve Ballmer before Steve Ballmer, millionaire, billionaire now, on the sideline, cheering, enthusiasm.
He was that guy. Now it's more
all legal though.
How do we right? How do we increase the value of the entire league? How do we launch it? So he's just the old guy in the room, so to speak, with old ideas, and they're like, hey, do that over there, and the new ownership is saying it's our team and we do what we want. And I don't think it was Nico, because we team Nico over here.
Right, we big team Nico. Shout out to Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
All right, next up, right, because we're pressed for time, the Unrivaled Women's Basketball League is expanding, and its expansion comes at a time when the WNBA could potentially be on the verge of a work stoppage. Now, is that going to happen right as they're soaring? Probably not, but it's a sexy headline, right? So the league was started by the WNBA stars Breanna Stewart and Nafisia Collier, right? They're expecting for this new upcoming season, Paige Buckners will become a part of it, the Dallas Wings rookie. Beckers, and she already has an equity stake in an NIL deal with Unrivaled. And, the valuation jumped from $95 million last year to now $340 million, with a fresh infusion of cash, including Serena Williams' venture company. So, DH, the floor is yours. Break this down for us.
I think that they are revolutionizing or evolving the women's game in a more palatable way, other than just an NBA kind of knockoff, because that's what the WNBA does. So it just doesn't work. Now we get more women with the Unrivaled, more women touching the ball. We have them a little more loose, all that kind of stuff, which helps. You got the Caitlin and the Angel Reese thing that kind of blew up the WNBA last year. This is just an extension. So to get a 4 times valuation, to say if it was worth $95 million, now it's worth $340 million, and just got an infusion of capital. That means more media rights, more marketing, more
2 more franchises jumping in, Breeze Basketball Club and Hive Basketball Club.
So I think it's great. I mean, shout out to O'Shea, because he—
the big 3.
Yep, he paved the way with how 3-on-3 can really add consumer value, meaning stars, smaller games,
celebrities courtside, the fan experience being big.
Yeah. So they bit him, right? They bit that whole idea and did it for women. That's all they did, So once again, unfortunately, that second mover advantage is sometimes a rough one, because that's what they did. They just moved in on Cube's play.
I was always taught, one of the things, one of the companies I worked at, someone said, it's not always important to be first. It's better to be correct, as far as like the market is or whatever, right? Not saying you shouldn't strive to be first or earlier on top, but there are advantages to, peeping the scene sometimes and curating your product as such.
Well, and just seeing something and then being able to create, they say, pioneers get slaughtered, settlers prosper.
I mean, it is right there.
So Cube, the first one through the door, he catching the first bullet.
Andy?
No, I just think that shout out to Cube. I also think the Big 3 league has paved the way for the whole 1v1 situations going on now. And low key, if the WNBA with the whole Unrivaled thing, I think that would be a natural little transition too. I think folks would want to see some of these WNBA cats go one-on-one.
Well, we'll see. We see all types of things, so I'm sure some form of it is coming. The WNBA is a test ground for some concepts, I feel.
Yeah, one-on-one isn't new. right? We did that.
Shout out to Nike Battlegrounds, the summers of 2002, 2003, 2004.
And 5.
And 5, right? Yeah.
On MTV, too.
And an MTV special, yeah. Yeah. We were a part of that. History.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's just consumption. It's bite-sized consumption, and I love it. I like what they're doing over there with Unrivaled.
All right, you guys. Thanks for locking in. You can find Damon Haley on social media at Damon Haley. Go check out Glow and Flow Beauty and Slay Hair. Of course, I'm at Stiletto Jill. You know, we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, new tea. More facts, culture, and context. Coming up next is the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. I'll holler at you guys later.
Now rapping basketball, number 1, Curtis Blow.
Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court, just like I'm looking on the microphone. So it's Dr. J and Moses Malone. I like slam dunks and taking it to the hoop. My favorite play is the alley-oop. I like the pick and roll. I like the give and go, 'cause it's basketball by Mr. Curtis Blow. Take the girl to see Tiny play against Earl the Pearl and Will, Big O, and Jerry West play basketball at its very best. Basketball has always been my thing. I like Magic Bird